table appointment, there are 5 scenarios that you can generate from asking the client question. So last week I went over the client presentation in our serious part-timer and full-timers call. We're working on the presentation. And in the presentation, there is a client question that you're asking to generate one of these 5 scenarios. Before we dive into the 5 scenarios, who thinks they know what the question is? What's the question that you're asking that should give you a scenario? You just unmute yourself and say it. Go ahead. All right, Karen. Karen, raise that.
The before the 5 scenarios is what kind of life insurance do you have?
Yep, pretty basic. Yep. Right now, Leah, who currently handles your life insurance for you? Right. And with that question, you are going to generate one of the 5 scenarios. So before we dive into the 5 scenarios, if you go to YouTube and you search why Primerica at the kitchen table presentation, Ian Prugner, founder of Team Relentless, pretty much the reason why all of you are on this Zoom call tonight. He does an actual a great um presentation on what I'm getting ready to cover with you guys tonight. So in your downtime, if you want to get better, you want to sharpen up, great resource for you to utilize in your downtime. So go and check that out. So we talked about that. The life question will identify one of the 5 scenarios. Now let's do a quiz. What are the 5 scenarios? Post them in the chat. What are the 5 scenarios that you can get? Let's see here. Single, no insurance. Married, no insurance. Whole life, yep. 2 more. Term, yep. 1 more. There's 1 more. Anybody want to take a stab at it? So 5 scenarios. Work insurance. Good stuff, Leah. Yep. So those are your 5. These are the only 5 type of outcomes that you can get when you ask a person, hey, who currently handles your insurance? What type of insurance do you have? They're gonna give you one of these responses, right? They're single and they're uninsured. They are married and they're uninsured. They have group insurance, which is just insurance through work. They have some form of whole life cash value insurance, or they have another term insurance product. Another term insurance product. These are only you can't get anything outside of these, other than maybe a combination of the two. Oh, I have it through work, and then my wife has a small term policy with the company, right? Other than that, there's going to be one of these scenarios. Okay, so tonight I'm going to show you at least maybe the first 3. I'll deal with the first 3 of these tonight. Then if we could do some Q&A around this, then we'll pick up on some of this next week. But I want to show you specifically how to deal with these and how to put yourself in a position to close some business. Okay, put yourself in a position to close some business. All right, so here we go. So we'll start with number 1, single and uninsured. So for role playing purposes, do we have anybody on here that is a single individual that would like to role play with me really quick? If you are single, raise your hand. Is anybody single? I know all y'all ain't got no man or no woman. Nobody? Man. All right. Let me see. Did somebody say something in the chat, maybe? All right, America dating. That's so funny, Dan. All right. All right. So
I can pretend if you want, if you need somebody to role play with you, it's fine.
yeah, let's role play, Dan. Because nobody on here is single. Who is not married on here? Who's not married? If you're not married, say me in the chat. I'm not, so you're not married. No,
I'm not married. I'm single.
All right, thank you, Anna. Goodness gracious. I appreciate you. All right, you're gonna role play with me, okay, Anna? Thank you. All right.
Okay.
So let's say I'm meeting with Anna. She does it, so I'm gonna ask you, Anna, and just give me an answer no. 'Cause I know you've been with us for a while, so the answer may be yes, but I want you to give me an answer no for role playing
What
purposes.
am I gonna be for a while?
All right, so I'm gonna ask Anna if she has insurance. Anna, you're just gonna tell me no, and I'm gonna role play this with you, okay?
Okay.
All right, Anna. So, listen, before let me preface this. I know you're like, hey, Jerome, we don't run client-based appointments with single individuals. That is not always the case. Sometimes you do, maybe through a referral or through some conversation or prospecting, you may find yourself there. So if you find yourself there, you're there, and just run your play, okay? So Anna, right now, um, who currently handles your life insurance for you? You have life insurance?
No, but I wanted to be a mortgage insurance broker and I took the test and I had tutoring and I went from 24 to 78% in a year and a half with intensive tutoring with Frankie and Yvette with Primerica. And I'm fighting to pass the state exam. I don't money till December because I got robbed. So
Okay,
when my
hey
friend
Anna,
hopefully gets
hey
his
Anna,
money,
I'm
it's
gonna
going to
pause
help
you. I'm
me.
gonna pause you, friend. Just answer no to the question. We're gonna role play this, okay? Yeah,
Okay.
I appreciate you telling me all your business, but I don't need to hear that right now. I want to just role play this, okay? Anna, let you let loose on me, Anna. That's good though.
Yeah, planning to go
Give
in
me that
December
later.
and
Give me that
fight.
information later, Anna. All right, so Anna, I just want to know if you have life insurance. Anna, do you currently have life insurance?
No.
No? Okay. Perfect. Anna, is it okay with you that I share with you why I believe that, young individuals like yourself should have life insurance? Is that okay, Anna?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So, first and foremost, Anna, life insurance premiums, so the cost of life insurance, and you got the answer on the screen, by the way, it's based on two things, Anna. What do you think those two things are?
Life insurance.
Yeah, what's the cost of life insurance based on? The cost. It's based on two things. There are two primary factors that make up the cost of life insurance. What are they?
Health, age, health.
Yep, absolutely. Age and health. You got it on the screen. Yep. Age. So, Anna, let me ask you this: are you any younger than you? Are you? Is there any possibility that you can get younger than what you are today?
No, I'm 28 and I'm getting older.
Yeah, you're getting older, right? But God did not make our bodies to. You can get like maybe healthier to a certain extent, but you naturally you get older. You don't get younger, right? All right. So that's number one. So you're the youngest you'll ever be. Number two is you're probably the healthiest you'll ever be. Now, yeah, you can get healthy, like get fit, and get into better shape and all these things. Like people can do that, but there's a point in our lives where our bodies will naturally start to deteriorate over time. You can only get healthy up to a certain point, and then after that, it starts to deteriorate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like dementia, like my great grandmother had. And
Absolutely,
she
yeah,
died at age 100.
absolutely. So if think about this, so if your life insurance cost is based off of age and health, and the younger you are, the cheaper it is, the healthier you are, the cheaper it is. Does it make sense to look into getting insurance now while you're as young as you're ever going to be and as healthy as you're ever going to be? Or does it make sense to wait until you're much older and you might have some form of, health or ailments that may pop up?
It's better to get it when you're younger, so that way when you're older you have
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's the first reason I believe young people should have insurance. The second reason is um second to dying is getting very, very, very sick and not dying. Okay. And why is that? Because obviously if you become very, very sick, you are no obviously you have an ailment. That's no fun. But you are no longer able to work, and because you're no longer able to work, it becomes tough to pay your bills. You maybe rack up medical expenses and these type of things. So, what Primerica has is something called a terminal illness rider attached to all of our products, where if a person became terminally ill, which is stated that they have 6 months or less to live, the company will pay out a percentage of their insurance right away before they pass away for them to be able to take care of like maybe medical expenses, maybe pay their bills, maybe seek out alternative medical treatment to maybe be able to save their lives, bucket list activities, etc. Okay. Let me ask you this, Anna, right now. Do you have an account sitting around somewhere where you have $250,000, let's just say, for an emergency like that?
I have 285 in my bank account by December.
So the answer to that would be no then. Okay. So Anna, if you could have access to that type of money, God forbid you were to find yourself with a terminal illness, do you think that would be something good to have?
No, I need to use 100. My friend's going to help me get $100 with his lawsuit money in December to help me finish my course to get licensed to help people do mortgage insurance, which is similar to this.
Okay, good. All right, so we're gonna answer the no to that. So we
And
want
I'm working on getting licensed with you guys because you guys are awesome for disabled people. You guys
yeah,
have
we want you
amazing
to get
tutoring.
licensed with us. Good. So the answer, I would say the answer is no to that. So we want it, yes, we gotta get some money on us. You can get licensed with us. But
Yeah, you guys helped me get from failing to passing the practice with my mental condition with a lot of tutoring, which most companies don't. That's why I stayed with you guys. You were kind of patient towards my mental
oh, that's
condition.
awesome. Good stuff. I'm glad to hear that. So, and then last but not least, Anna, last but not least, the third reason why I believe you should have insurance outside, as a young person is because Anna, tell me this: who you care about the most? Who's like the number one person in your life that you care about right now?
Other people.
Give me one or two the closest people to you that you care about the most.
My friend in jail, he's coming out hopefully September, October, and he's going to help me pay for my finish my course and my state exam for 200. So I won't have to worry about the last incident where I passed the practice and I had to pass the readiness, which is going to be
Okay.
awesome.
Okay, perfect. So, honestly, you have this person that you care about.
Yeah, I,
If something were to happen to you prematurely, Anna, and you can bless that person, maybe leave them some money to maybe be able to, cover their expenses, pay off their debts, or jumpstart their life. And it sounds like you would do that now, alive and well. But if something were to
yeah,
happen to you, it sounds like you would want to do that as well. Is that fair to say?
yeah, he's going to bless me and help me finish my course in December so I can hopefully take my state exam in June and become a mortgage broker
All right.
with you guys and with two other companies.
We gonna look at getting you some insurance. Honestly, you can, if forbid something were to happen to you prematurely, you can bless the person that's willing to help bless you. All right, Anna. So give Anna a hand. Anna was great helping me role play. Give Anna a shout out in the chat. Thank you, Anna. I appreciate you. So that is single with no insurance. Those are the three reasons why a person that's single with no insurance, maybe no small kids running around, should have some coverage. Any questions or concerns, anything in regards to that? Nope. All right. So you get a person in front of you that's single, and for whatever reason you're on a client-based appointment with them. This is the conversation you need to be having with them. All right. So let's keep moving. Number two is married, uninsured or no insurance. Uninsured or no insurance. Um, let's just say no insurance. But anyway, let's keep moving. Leah, can you role play this with me? I know Leah's married. Can Leah role play? It's Leah yelling at kids.
Sure, for a hot minute.
All right. All right. So I'm going to ask my question, right? Your question generates one of the five scenarios. So, hey, Leah. So, Leah, right now, who currently handles your life insurance for you and Josh?
We don't have any.
Oh, no, you guys don't have any life insurance?
No.
No? Okay. Well, Leah, listen, when I run across married couples like you and Josh, that don't have any life insurance, it's generally for one of three reasons. The first reason is they just haven't gotten around to it yet. They know that it's something that they need. It's important, but for that reason, they just hadn't checked it off their list of things to do yet. Number two is they don't think they can afford it. Right? Like they look at it, they view it as another expense, something else to add on to their already maybe tight budget that think it might cost a ton too much to have. And then the third reason, Leah, which I don't think this is you. I've got an opportunity to spend some time with you and Josh, and you guys seem like you love each other and love your family. But believe it or not, I do run across these people, and that's they just don't care. They're like, hey, if something were to happen to me, his mom can figure it out, or her mom can figure it out. The family will take care of it. So I know the second one is not you, Leah. So which of the first two would you say sounds like you just hadn't gotten around to it, or you didn't know if you could afford it to fit it into your current budget?
It's kind of a little bit of both. You know, we're a one income family. I've heard people talk about it that it's kind of expensive, so haven't really shopped around, haven't got around to checking it out. I figure it's probably expensive, so maybe when we have more money, we'll look at it.
Okay, well, listen, Leah, I'm glad I'm here to help you get around to it because it sounds like it's something you want to do. Let me ask you this, Leah. You mentioned in the back end there money. What is too much right now?
Probably like more than $100 would be a lot.
Say it again now.
More than $100 would be a lot.
Okay, so if you can get something that was less than $100 per month, it sounds like you would highly consider it.
Maybe.
Okay, well let's do this, Leah. Let's look at some numbers and see if we can get you something, for less than $100 per month that would be adequate for you and your family. That sound fair?
Okay, sure. Sounds fair.
All right. So if Leah tells me she hasn't gotten around to it, I'm gonna say, awesome. I'm glad I'm here to help you get around to it. Right. Then I'm gonna ask her a few questions. Leah, if money weren't an issue, so we'll learn more about these later, but these are what we call the closing questions. Hey, so I'm gonna help you get around to it, Leah. I'm glad I'm here. So Leah, if money weren't an issue, role play this with me, Leah, really quick. So if money weren't an issue, Leah, how much coverage would you like to have? Just to make sure your family was protected if something were to happen to you.
I mean, at least enough for my funeral expenses
Okay.
and maybe like pay off my car. So I don't know how much are funerals. I think my dad's is like
About
20,000
15,000. Yeah.
and then I owe like less than 10 on my car. So I don't know, we'll round up maybe 40,000. But is life insurance something I could like leave my husband a bunch of money to buy like his dream car? Like what's my options here?
Yeah, but you can do that, but remember we gotta well, in this example you said we're not thinking about the budget, but let's say if she said she had a budget, I would be like, hey, remember we said she had a budget. So maybe leaving money to buy a dream car wouldn't be ideal. But
Okay.
yep, that is something that you could do, Leah. Yeah. So I will
Okay.
figure out an amount with Leah. So were you thinking, Leah, maybe like a couple 100,000, half a million?
Maybe like 50,000, 100,000.
Let's call it 100,000. Let's start there, okay?
Okay.
100,000, Leah. Um, so obviously, Leah, second closing question. Obviously, Leah, money's always an issue when rolling into programs like insurance. You can't just get it for free. So with that being said, Leah, on a monthly basis, what would you be comfortable investing to make sure you had that $100,000? Now, before you answer, Lee, I'm going to give you a few parameters for individuals that are, in your age range. Um, so on the lower end, maybe we could do anywhere from maybe 30 to $50 to have that coverage. On a higher end, maybe anywhere between $50 to $100. Where would you say you would fall at comfortably, Lee, or if you have a specific dollar amount?
I think as long as $50 a month,
$50?
that'd be good.
Okay, perfect. So Leah, let me ask you this. So if we can get you $100,000 in coverage, close to that $50 per month range, you wouldn't have any issue with implementing that plan if we could get you close to that, sounds like.
No.
Okay. All right, Leah, let's run you some quotes. Then I would just go into my quick quotes, take Leah's age, and I will start running her some quotes. And I want to get that $100 as close to the $50 as possible. And that's kind of how I would deal with that. I stumbled there a little bit on the beginning because I usually give and you have to adapt to the people that you're dealing with. So Leah says so usually when I ask like how much do you think insurance will cost, right? Usually you get a bigger number. Like, oh, $300 a month. Okay, so if I get you something that's less than $300 a month, right? Or between $100 and $200 a month, that would be something that would interest you. Oh, absolutely. So it depends on what they think is too much. I'm always going to ask that question, right? I'm always going to ask that question. Um, if that's their primary objective, we didn't think we could afford it. Okay, so I'm going to figure out, hey, what can you afford? And we'll let Leah like what's too much? What and I want to gauge what she thinks too much is. You never know, right? Like I had a lady one time, she's like $500 a month. I'm like, whoa, we won't spend that much. So now when I came back and they cost $200 a month, she was okay with that because it wasn't what $500 a month, right? You guys hear people say, oh, it's too much, and you start assuming for them what too much is, and you never identify what too much is. Right? So I'm gonna ask Leah. Leah tell me like, hey, we don't think we can afford it. The cost, like, hey, what can you afford, or what do you think is too much? And I'm gonna figure that out based on whatever she tells me, and then I'm gonna use that. So like in this example, she told me $100, right? Over $100 was too much. So when I ask that second question and I'm framing, right? You see, I did framing. I usually give three. Um, I usually give three options there, but I only gave two: $30 to $50, $50 to $100. What did I not exceed? $100. Why? Because Leah told me $100 more than $100 was too much, so I'm not going to exceed that. So I asked her, where do you see yourself at? Where do you fall? And she told me $50. Perfect. So I'm gonna ask her another question, Leah. If I can get you to the $100,000 in coverage and stay within the $50 per month range, I take it that would be something you would be interested in. Right? I'm being very assumptive. Why can I be so assumptive? Who wants to take a wild guess of why I can be so assumptive? You guys can talk out loud. Unmute yourselves. Let's see. Sierra, why can I be so assumptive? I'm just gonna start calling on people. Sierra, why can I be so assumptive?
Because she already told you what she wanted to spend.
She told me. Yes. Yes, she told me. I didn't tell her. She told me, and I just repeated back to her what she told me. Right? So that's why I can be so assumptive. Um, so that's kind of how I deal with that. But haven't gotten around to it yet. I'm here to help you get around to it. Then I'll ask my two qualifying questions. How much coverage, my two closing questions. If money wasn't an issue, how much coverage would you like to have, Leah? That's the first one. My second question, closing question is if money's always an issue, how much would you be comfortable with investing on a monthly basis to make sure you are covered? Right. And I give the parameters 30 to 50, 50 to 100, 100 plus, depending on who I'm dealing with. I'll change those numbers up. Right. If she says, hey, I don't think we can afford it, I'll ask, why don't you think you can afford it? And I'll let her tell me, we think it costs a lot. We can't fit it in our budget. She's going to give me one of those two responses. Don't think they can fit in their budget. Think it costs too much. Right? How much can you fit in your budget? Let her give me a response. Right? And I'm going to deal with it. Right? Or she says it costs too much. What is too much, Leah? Let her give me a response. I'm not going to assume. I'm going to let her give me a response. Then I want to deal with it. How would you change that with both spouses on? I don't understand your question, Calvin. Can you unmute yourself and ask the question? Or is that Sierra that asked that? Calvin?
If you have both spouses on, how would you gauge those quotes with their budget?
Oh yeah, so I would just ask I would ask the question for both of them. So I'm just gonna ask, what can you guys fit in your budget? Like, so I'm just gonna figure out what they can both fit in their the budget, the family budget, what's left over. Like, oh yeah, we can, we can together we can spend $100 per month, right? So I'm just gonna run those numbers for $100 per month. Because when you do the quick quotes, you can, even though you're doing the application separately, you can run the quotes together. So that's what I would do. With me saying we couldn't afford more than $100, and then one said 50, you confirm that will be $50 each. And in this scenario, I'm assuming that it's just you, Leah. But if you told me like 50 for the house, I'm gonna do $50 for the both of you. That's what I'm gonna start at. And then I'm gonna and so this is a good question, Leah. One of two things can happen. Um, let's say I did this before I did a financial needs analysis. I'm definitely gonna start with the $50, right? And that'll be for the total household, just to get you guys some coverage. I'm okay with getting you guys some coverage that you have not having any coverage. When I do the financial needs analysis, and this could be before or after I do a life app, I'm going to confirm that with the financial needs analysis. It'll confirm what you're telling me, right? Oh, we can only afford $50. Most people can afford more than $50, by the way. Right? They're spending money on other junk. They got a surplus. They just don't want to give it to you. And you find that out doing the financial needs analysis. Okay. Uh, yep. Absolutely. Any other questions? Married with no insurance. Any other thoughts? Any other concerns with this? All right, perfect. So that's how, okay, let me see. What if income changes and you can now afford more? Is it easy to change the plan due to change your income? Yep, absolutely. Yep. You can um it's always better to get more coverage up front because it's easier to decrease a policy than to increase a policy. What do I mean, Chloe? So when you go to increase a policy, it always triggers new underwriting. So they got to go through underwriting again, right? Potentially a physical exam, check of their criminal record, driver's record, health issues. So they always have to go through underwriting again. So usually when you do a policy, the first time you want to get them as much coverage as you can. That's not always the case because people have budgets and stuff like that. So you always want to try to get as much coverage as you can because it is easier to increase later than it is decrease. An increase, the company's not going to take you through everything because you're remember it's insurance. So if you're trying to ask for less coverage, they don't care about trying to take you through everything again. But if you're asking for more coverage, the company's question is always going to be is like, why does Chloe want more coverage all of a sudden? So they send you through the almost if you're outside of 6 months of having a policy, they send you through the whole process again. Just for that new coverage. It's almost like you're taking a whole new application when you do new coverage. So is it simple to add coverage to a client? Absolutely. I just added coverage to a client a couple days ago. I did it in like 10 minutes. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's real simple. But as far as from an underwriting standpoint, that young lady will have to go through the underwriting again because she's been a client with me for a couple years. So her medicals, the exam that she did 2 or 3 years ago is old now. So she has to go through a new physical. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, Chloe. Perfect. Thank you. Good question. Let's see here. Always offer to start small if necessary. Some is better than some is better than none, and always good for them to know they can get more when they reach. Yep, they can get more. The it's kind of it's tricky there. Like you want to get them more upfront if you can. Absolutely. Why? Because remember we talked about earlier when I was role playing with Anna. Life insurance is based off the cost of life insurance is based off of two things: age and health. For sure, next year they're older, right? Also, you don't know what a person's health can turn for the worse. You never know. So that's why it's so important if you can to get a person more coverage up front to lock it in. Because once they're covered, it does not matter what happens to their health. It does not matter We know their age is going to change. We know their health can potentially get worse, but it doesn't matter once they're covered. So the more you have them covered for, the more they're locked into. But if they did a smaller policy, and then later on they wanted to get coverage, but their health has changed, it's going to be tough to get them new coverage because they might not be eligible for it due to their health, right? So kind of tricky there. Once again, some coverage is better than no coverage. Some coverage is better than no coverage. But yeah, so you just gotta look at it. It's gonna, Chloe. The more you do this, you will see it's like case by case. Every person you get in front of you is gonna be completely. The dynamics are gonna be completely different from person to person to person. Okay. Um. Yep. Yeah. Primerica coverage is the best quality around too. Oh yeah, absolutely. I got all type of. Then I got all type of Primerica stories of speaking about the quality uh, of what we do for people. So, um, about 80-90% of the time, Primerica is cheaper than anything else out there. So you will find companies with premiums that are less than Primerica. That does exist. However, 100% of the time, valuing what we do for people, I have not ran across it yet. Looking to do the right thing, right? Like I have people all the time come to me like, "Hey, man, well, my policy's cheaper than yours, Jerome." I'm like, "Well, we gonna pay out." Right? Does it matter if it's cheaper and they ain't gonna pay out? No, it does not. Right? So it could be cheaper, but if it's not gonna pay your family a death claim, not gonna cut your family a check in a timely manner, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? Price is only an issue in the absence of value. Price is only an issue in the absence of value. Listen, like you will, and most all of you guys are adults, and you've had this experience. You've had this experience in one way or the other, where you like, hey, I'm gonna go to this place because it's cheaper, and you were disappointed as heck. I'm gonna do this thing because it's a cheaper route to take, and you were disappointed. Am I right or am I right? Everybody has had this type of experience where you tried to lowball something, take the cheaper route, and you were like, I should have just paid more money. I would have had a much better experience. Absolutely, right? That's same thing with insurance. They're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna cost a little bit more, but listen, I know for a fact that we're gonna do the right thing for you. We're gonna pay a death claim. The death claim is gonna be in a timely manner. We're not gonna give your family to run around, all that type of jazz. So absence is only an issue, and the price is only an issue in the absence of value. So that's married with no insurance. Married with no insurance. We're gonna cover one more. We'll cover one more. So I'm gonna do group insurance. Group insurance. All right, Sarah. I'm gonna have you roll this for me, Sarah. So that's Sarah who handles her life insurance. She's gonna tell me through work. Okay, Sarah. So right now, who currently handles your life insurance for you?
Um, well, my husband's job actually does.
Okay, so you guys just currently have it through work.
Yep.
Good. That's good. No, you have something. So is it okay if I share with you really quickly why myself and other business professionals believe that you should have coverage outside of work and own your own private life insurance?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Real quick, guys, I want y'all to notice I always ask to give them more information or present. Why you guys think that is? Why you guys think that is?
One, you want to get as many yeses as possible.
Yeah,
But two, you want to get them thinking and like be able to learn more about what it is that
absolutely. Yep. Yep,
Promote
absolutely.
them to buy it.
Yep, that too. Yep. I am getting ready sometimes to ruffle some feathers. Right? So I gotta get permission to present to them. Right? Because I also always like to ask and be respectful. Like, hey, it's okay if I share with you. Well, I believe that you not just go right into it like, oh, that sucks. That sucks, Sarah. That's all y'all got? That ain't good, right? No. But I wanna like you am I winning Sarah over by saying that probably? No. Like making a person feel bad is probably not about to win them over. Like, oh, You ain't like so we used to have this joke with the like the person having no insurance through work. Because we say, oh, you don't or they or a couple having no insurance at all. And we used to have this joke that people were Ian used to tell us to say, like, oh, you have no insurance, like you were taken aback by that. And like we would role play this, and people would do it where like a person would feel terrible about not having insurance. Like, oh my God, you have no insurance, Sierra? Really? Like that didn't make like Sierra does not feel good if I did it like that, right? So it's a way that you need to go about doing these things. Okay, yeah, Sarah, is it okay if I share with you why myself and other financial professionals believe you should have coverage outside of work and maybe own your own private insurance? Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
All right, four reasons here, Sarah. Number one is the trend. Sarah? What is the trend in workplace benefits? If you were to turn your TV on today, and let's say you went over to the news, I don't know why you would do that. Some people watch the news, but if you went over to the news and you saw people outside of their places of employment going back and forth, picketing and boycotting, are they usually doing that because the benefits are getting better or the benefits are getting worse?
They're getting worse, way worse.
Worse, right? And that's across the board, Sarah. The trend in workplace benefits is they do not get better over time. They actually get worse. That's why you hear the word grandfather, right? Oh, they were grandfathered in. They're letting you know that like, hey, this was better than like compared to what we have now. So Sarah, if the trend in workplace benefits naturally, not because of anything that you guys did, they naturally get worse over time. Does it make sense to tie your family's financial well-being into that thing trending negatively?
No.
Probably not. So that's one of the first things we recommend people have insurance outside of work is because they trend negatively. The second reason is, Sarah, you actually have to be working to have these benefits in place. Now, there are some occasions where you can leave your place of employment and actually, you know, have the benefits where they're transferable. They can go with you, but those are very few and far between. And also, it usually costs a lot to have that happen. So let me ask you this, Sarah. What is the likelihood of a person working at the same place 30, 40, 50 years and just retiring there one day? How often does that happen these days? Like people just don't have jobs.
Well, these days, very slim.
It's very slim that a person is retiring from the place they worked at 40, 50 years. Why is that?
Right.
Because they find a different place of employment, they get fired, they start a business, they retire. Not saying that if they were to retire, leave, retire from that place that they're working at or pass away while they were working there, that benefit wouldn't pay out. You just got too many reasons why it just probably wouldn't happen. So, Sarah, do you think it makes sense to be able to have something where it doesn't matter where you went? Right? If you decide to start a business today, if you decided to, right, go to a new company today, you decided to, say, hey, I'm done working altogether, you are still covered. Do you think it makes more sense to be able to have private insurance to do so? No matter
Yeah,
where,
because if I own my own business, I'm not going to get insurance, correct?
yeah, you won't get insurance through an employer, but you already have it privately, right? So it makes sense to have it no matter what you decide to do, because right now if you left your job, you have no coverage, but generally speaking. So usually you have to be working. The third reason is you have to be on active payroll. This is real tricky, Sarah. Sarah, active payroll. So you have what you call active payroll and inactive payroll. Active payroll means, hey, you're showing up to work, you're punching the clock, you're actually working, we pay you, you have a benefit. Inactive payroll means for you work here, but for whatever reason you're not working, right? Like maybe you're on disability or leave of absent or maternity leave or something along those lines. And what happens during those time frames, Sarah, is you're still on the payroll, but your benefit they can cut off, right? So here you are. You think you're covered, but you have no coverage because you crossed over some form of threshold of being an inactive employee, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Okay. So not only on top of you got to worry about, hey, am I actually working there? But then you got to worry about like, hey, now not only if I'm working there, but am I in the proper status with the company? Am I actually working? Am I punching the clock? Am I showing up to work? So now you have these gaps in your policy, right? And this is generally, Sarah, what do you guys pay for your group insurance through work right now?
I'm not real sure what he pays. It's probably really cheap. But you're talking about active payroll. So do they decide what their term is, either the 30, 60, or 90, or however long?
Yep. So you're in your policy, but if you can find that, usually there's not a policy, Sarah. There's what you call a group certificate. In the group certificate, it'll share with you the reasons why your policy will go inactive. Let me give you a good example of this, Sarah. So I had a client of mine. He was this is being recorded. Okay. He was with a well-known delivery company. He had been there for years, and he had got a back injury. Well, with his back injury, he had to go on disability. And while he was on disability, he had mentioned that when he crossed over day 60, it was like he never worked there. It's like he never worked there. So he lost his benefits after day 6. So day 61 it was like he never had benefits with the company. Okay. So your certificate of insurance shows stuff like that. Right. Hey, we cover this, we don't cover this. If you're active for this long, or if you're on disability for this long, it'll give give that type of information. Okay. So, but this is generally why it's so inexpensive. You've heard the saying, sir, you get what you pay for. Right. So here's what we don't want to have happen. We don't want to have uh Sarah, let's say we don't want to have you then in a hospital bed, right? And your family's looking at time frames because they're like, man, look, Sarah's been here for this amount of time, but if Sarah's here much longer, right, she's going to go from having coverage to not having any coverage, right? We want to have people like, hey, if something like that is going on, leave of absence, maternity leave, vacation, anything like that that requires you to be away from your job for extended periods of time. We want to make sure that during those time frames you are still covered. You cannot guarantee that through a work policy, but you can guarantee that through private insurance. Does that make sense, sir?
Yes, but what I don't understand is my husband is the one that has the work insurance.
Mhm.
So does that cover the whole family or just him? How does that work?
It depends on his products. Some products do cover the whole family, some products don't. Usually the ones that do cover the whole family, that you're not eligible for the same type of coverage that the spouse is, that the actual
Okay.
working partner is. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I was just thinking about what if one of our kids got in like
No,
heaven
that's a great
forbid,
question.
a
Yeah.
terrible accident, and then he has to be off work as well. But just if something kind of happens to the kid, is he like
That's a
covered?
great question. Yeah, that negatively affects the whole family if he has that if he is the one experiencing, isn't that? And that's a terrible part about that too, Sarah. Right? And you're like, hey, I'm not the one that's working. He's the one that's working. What if he is? So if he's off work, it affects all of us. Yes, yes. Good question. Um, and then last but not least, Sarah, terminal illness benefit. So a terminal illness benefit is usually stated the individual has 6 months or less to live. Uh, they can get a portion of their benefit right away. Okay. The issue with a terminal illness, with only having group insurance, is if you become terminally ill, Sarah, you probably just triggered points 2 and 3 on my list here. You probably can't work, and you definitely about to be on not be on active payroll. Okay. So with that being said, you need to have something that protects you if you became terminally ill. All of Primerica products, Sarah, has a terminal illness rider where if you be, and it doesn't have to be diagnosed by us, it can be diagnosed by your own physician. if you have 6 months or less to live, the company will pay out a portion of your benefit right away, so you can, you know, cover your living expenses, right? Seek out alternative medical treatment. Well, check off bucket list items for all we care, but the money is there. The money is there. With the group insurance, you just trigger point two, you just trigger point three, and now you're probably not working and you're ineligible for life insurance altogether. Altogether. So, Sarah, do you see why it's important for you to consider and look into having insurance outside of work?
Oh, definitely.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so whatever you can give through work for free, they look, get it, keep it. Free is good. Whatever your family needs to have, Sarah, you need to own privately. Okay. And that's kind of how I cover the group insurance. Uh any give Sarah a shout out. Good job, Sarah. Sarah has some good questions also. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate you. Any questions about the group insurance? Any thoughts on the group insurance? You can unmute yourselves or type it in the chat. Yeah, what's your close? That I just asked it, but I'll ask it again, Sarah. So, Sarah, do you see why it's important for you to have insurance outside of work? Listen, Sarah, and Sarah shook her head, yes. Listen, Sarah, anything that you can get for free, keep it. Free is good. But anything that your family should have, you need to privately own it. That's my closing question, Calvin. Let me see. My husband only has work insurance and is eligible now due to health, ineligible now due to health. And he is done with his servant's pay and benefits in April. Yeah, so he doesn't. So in that case, you just need to make hope that it's transferable. Which group? A lot of group. You run across a lot of group plans that are transferable. They just cost a lot more. They cost a lot to transfer them.
And a lot of times it's only transferable to whole life too.
Yeah, and they're usually only transferable to whole life. Yep. So, but in that, listen, we're gonna destroy whole life next week on here. You guys know we don't like whole life. But if that's all a person can have because of a situation like that, they gotta have it. They gotta have it. Because the whole life company will pay out. We just don't agree with what they do with the money and how they structure the plans. But you got solid companies out there that offer whole life products. They're when I say solid from a like we might not agree with the products that they market, but as far as paying claims, they pay claims. New York Life, Mutual Omaha, these companies, like it sucks that they sell whole life, but they do pay out claims. They'll pay claims. They would not have been in business that long if they don't. So, um, that's a good one. Any other questions, concerns, thoughts? Yep, more expensive when they transfer. No, I think that's all right. So we'll cover the other two next week. Let me see here. I personally had terrible whole life policies through work and have seen a terrible accidental death and dismemberment group policies as well. Yeah. Accidental death and dismemberment is dumb to me, but so accidental death, a person has to pass away through what they call a common carrier accident. That means they have to die through bus, plane, train, something like that. And here's the deal. If you were on an airplane and you got into an airplane accident and you passed away, the companies, they actually have insurance for that anyway. So you actually don't have to pay for it anyway. That's a thought. But also, my question with a person that has so after I explain that to them, that you have to pass away and it has to be that way. It can't be like, hey, you got into a car accident and then they come through and they say, oh no, but you actually didn't die from a car accident. You died from a heart attack. That's another thing that could happen. People have not had claims pay out through accidental death because it was decided that like, oh No, you didn't. You actually didn't pass away from the actual car accident. You passed away from a heart attack or a COVID or something like that, right? It wasn't from the actual car accident.
Or like you didn't die in the car accident, you died in the hospital with because you had a heart attack or something like that. Even though
Yep,
the accident is what caused everything to start to shut down.
absolutely. Yep. So watch this. So here's my question I always ask. Hey Dan, do you want your life insurance to pay out no matter how you pass away? Or do you
That
have
would be
you want to pay out
yes.
because you were in a car accident?
I would like it to pay out regardless.
You wanted to pay out no matter how you pass away. You don't want to have to pay out because you died a certain way. Like if I jumped off a cliff or whatever, got shot or died from a heart attack, I want my insurance to pay out no matter how I go. As long as I'm in good standings, I checked all the company's boxes. I wanted to pay out. I don't want to be like, oh, he was in good standings, checked all the company boxes, but sorry, Mrs. Cooper, he did not die from a plane crash. No, I want to pay out no matter how I pass away. All right, so we go. 80% of death claims are illness related, not accident. That's so good. Yep. AAD payout rates are as low as 14 to 20%. Yeah, that's so good, Leah. Yep. Good stuff. Any other thoughts? Any other questions? Listen, I know this is not the sexiest stuff to cover. It's kind of dry, but a little bit slower. But man, I'm trying to teach you guys how to help people and how to get paid doing Primerica. Right? If you want to run out there and run around and not get paid, being in front of people and sit, because you're gonna get these scenarios. Chloe, if you are meeting with people, these scenarios are gonna pop up. And if you know them, if you're good, if you can have the conversations, you can put yourself in a position to get paid. You can put yourself in a position to get paid. I did two transactions on my and I'll end with this and let you guys go for the evening. I did two transactions on my vacation. This is on my vacation, Chloe. My wife and I took a little trip, vacation. And I had some appointments. I met with some people, and I replaced some group policies, some terrible group policies, and those two policies paid. And it took me maybe 2.5 hours to do. Okay, replacing those group policies paid me close to $2,200. Oh, this is dry. This is boring. Well, keep not knowing it and missing out on money helping people. Keep not knowing and missing out on money helping people. So that's why we're covering this stuff with you guys. We want to get you skilled up. We want you to be sharp. We want you to be able to have a conversation. And listen, will you get them on? No, no. But I guarantee you, if you know the information and you can give a coherent presentation and get the person that you're dealing with to have some understanding of what you're doing, you will take a lot of the people that you would have completely missed out on opportunities with and turn them into clients. So that's all we got for you guys this evening.
Don't go anywhere.
We'll pick up we'll do the other two, the last two next week. But appreciate you guys being on. I think Dan's having some people stay on, following training. You guys have a
Yeah.
great night. Appreciate y'all. Enjoy your week. We'll talk to you later.
So yeah, hey, if you want to stick around for a minute, guys, we have like a little emergency team meeting for our team, our base shop, but we're all one team. So if y'all want to hang out for a few minutes, I'm cool with that. So I talked about it a little bit at the very beginning of training, but this one by one reset, guys, is a really big deal. Um, and like I'm just gonna be real with you, like our people that have been around for a little while, not even a little while, people that have been around for like 18 months or less, which is pretty much everybody on here um, has not seen our team function at the way that we actually can. And the things that we've done, we broke literally every record in the state of Michigan when Taylor and I got started. Like we came in guns a-blazing, and then frankly looked into all these different companies, made sure Primerica was where we wanted to be and whatnot. And we've just been kind of chilling for the last little while, and we picked up the momentum. If you've been, those of you who've been around for 6 months or less, you've seen, we've really started to start recruiting again, start building again. And it's working, it's happening, things are moving. Here's the reality, Amy, we're not going to be losing anymore. Okay. So we're going to start winning all the things. That includes our team winning all the things, right? Listen, some of you are going to go to Marco Island with us. Some of you are going to go to Marco Island with us next February when they do this trip. You have to qualify with that 1x1 reset. Every single person on this call right now, even like Jennifer, I know you're not in my base shop technically, right? Sarah, Leah, you're not in my base shop, whatever, that's fine. You're still a part of the team. Like, we want y'all to go. Like, you got to fight with everything in you to get this reset this month. It is, I mean, honestly, like, if you just work, you'll do it. If you just try, put an actual effort, it is one personal recruit, which not for your team. So like if I recruit, so like Karen, Chloe, like Karen recruited you for somebody else, that would not count as Karen's recruit. That is Mackenzie's or whoever. What, that doesn't even matter. It's that other person's recruit. Okay, so that would count for her, not for Karen. So for most of you, you just got to get your trainer, right? You got to get me or Leah or Karen or Dana or Jennifer in front of somebody to give a presentation and you'll qualify. Okay. Listen, like, I cannot stress to you enough how important it is that you go get this reset. Like, they're giving you an opportunity right now to even the playing field with people that have been working their tail off for the last 90 days. And you can come in, do 1x1 and be even with them. Guys, do not miss the opportunity here. Okay. And then you got to qualify at your level and all this other stuff. Like, we're not even going to get into all that right now. It is one recruit and $1,000 in annual premium. There is no reason why you don't hit that. We have like literally 30 days from right now to find one human being that wants to make more money and one person that cares enough about their family to make sure that things are protected and taken care of. I promise you, you can do it. Right? You just got to make the effort. Okay. So when you do the 1x1, you will get a reset. Okay. On top of the reset, we have some some team grip wristbands that we have ordered that you will get. Okay. So we'll mail you a wristband, nothing super crazy. It's like one of these little things, nothing crazy, but just a 1x1 reset band. Guys, listen, like Andy told us when we first started, you need to fight for everything. Right? You need to fight for everything, win all the things, is what he would tell me all the time. Whatever the contest is, no one should beat you in it. And that was the mindset that we had that got us to 100,000 in 7 months, right? It got us, or 6 months, excuse me, got us to our regional vice president contract in 7 months. Listen, guys, it's day 2 of the month. It's day 2 of the month right now. Tomorrow is day 3 of the month. There are people that have already earned their reset. Right? Y'all can go do this, make it happen. And we're gonna recognize the crap out of you when you do that. We're gonna make it a big deal on every training. We're gonna be talking about it. Part-timers and full-timers are gonna get so sick of hearing about the 1x1 and the reset and the bands and all this other stuff. But guys, listen, like, it's important. You have to make it happen. Every single person on this call is, if everyone gets one recruit and gets 1,000 in premium, the call doubles. You understand that? Right? How much more impactful is it to bring somebody into a Zoom call where there's 30, 40, 50 people than there is 15? Right now, I know our Sunday nights are a little optional, so it's a little bit of a smaller crowd usually anyway. But guess what becomes something that you want to be on when you're winning? Right? Your whole team was going to want to get on this call, on the optional calls when you're winning. And when you're doing stuff, you have momentum. Everybody wants to be around it. Nobody wants to miss out on what's going on. So you want to create a winning environment, guys. Listen, like, we've got to go make this happen. Everybody gets the reset. Everybody gets the 1x1. Everyone. All right, guys, listen, big deal. Big deal. I love you guys. Let's go make this happen. This is going to be your best month ever. You need to start telling yourself that before bed. And when you wake up, this is your best month ever, guys. Believe it. Make it work. Love you all. Have a great night.